All right. Well, welcome. I'm Christina Johnson, and I have a special guest with me today, Lindsay Hayden-Felt. Lindsay has recently just gone through the process of creating a clean eating lifestyle and really made a lot of changes and working on her relationship with food. And so I just thought it would be fun to have her share her story a little bit and her experience. I think it's encouraging when we can hear other people's experiences of what's possible. Her and I have talked before that I think sometimes when you think about starting eating clean, working on your relationship with food, you know that it'll probably help you lose weight. You might have more energy, feel better. But I think most people don't realize like just how many different things can change by the end of the process. And so I think that's kind of fun to hear too from somebody's perspective who went through it. So Lindsay, thanks so much for being here with me today.
Yeah, you bet.
Do you want to just briefly introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Lindsay, and I live here in Nebraska with my husband and two little boys. I stay at home with my sons, and it is very busy all the time. A lot of chaos over here.
Yeah. And it can be hard to make the time to do this work for yourself when you have
hmm
busy little ones at home.
Yes, and especially when you're already stuck in like the exhaustion and the stress, and it's like, well, how do I get out of that to start making better choices?
Yeah. Yeah, so tell me, so when you first, like before you actually decided to start working on, changing your eating habits and lifestyle, like just kind of how were you feeling on a day-to-day basis? What were you struggling with? Why did you want to do this to begin with?
Oh, I just felt so awful. I was so exhausted and just spent all the time. Like I'd wake up exhausted and I'd go to bed exhausted. And the whole day in between, I was just like sluggish and irritated. And, I didn't have much patience. And um, I would, none of my clothes fit. I was at a high weight and just, yeah, all around just didn't feel very good. My moods have always been, up and down. But yeah, I just kind of felt bad.
Yeah.
And yeah, always tired and um, I wasn't sleeping very well at night. And I did have, a young baby, so I'd have to get up with him too. But um, I would still wake up on my own sometimes and not be able to fall asleep. And that was so frustrating.
Mm,
So yeah, I just thought, oh, something has to change. I want to have energy for my kids. I want to have better moods and be able to talk to my husband at the end of the day instead of being a zombie. So,
yeah.
and I
Yeah.
just wanted to feel better too,
Yeah.
physically.
Yeah. And so you had tried a couple other, in the past, you've done different diets and
Oh
things,
yeah, my
right?
whole life.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So
hmm
when you started like eating clean and, doing the total body reset with me, did you have hesitations or doubts about starting something new again?
Oh, of course, because it's like, I always try things and I'd have motivation for a little bit and then, something would happen or I'd have a stressful day and I'd eat pizza and I'm like, well, that's it, like no reason to keep trying.
Yep.
Um, and so, I just wasn't sure, but um, over the summer, I started watching some of your YouTube videos and I just tried implementing a couple of the things that I learned. And it was a really stressful season, as pretty much all my seasons are. But I was able to lose a little bit of weight. And I was like, wow, no way. Like, this is crazy. So I thought, wow, if I do the total body reset, like how much more can I make a change? So yeah, I was nervous, but I knew that there are some differences in this program, and so I was hopeful
Yeah.
and really hopeful about making like a lifestyle change rather than you just do it for this tiny bit of time, then you go back to what you were doing.
Yep. Yeah. Cause that's the typical diet cycle and it's
hmm
frustrating.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was the process like for you of like going through total body reset, but really just creating that clean eating lifestyle and working on your relationship with food?
Yeah, it was I don't know where to begin, but it was a lot of noticing what I'm currently eating, and that was a lot of processed stuff.
Mm,
And then there was a lot of learning of what healthy food does for you and the way it nourishes you. And just even for me, learning each week, like, oh, what does sugar do to the body, and what does I don't even know, like how nutrients just to help your body and just different things like that. That was interesting for me,
Mhm.
and a learning aspect that was helpful,
Yeah.
to make me want to eat healthy things rather than this processed junk that I learned has no nutritional value. It's just harming to the body. And so that was something. And then every day, just trying to add more vegetables and trying new recipes, discovering that it's not boring. It can still be tasty. Um, yeah, and I really enjoyed like our weekly calls, and that was helpful setting goals and just talking through different aspects of, a clean eating lifestyle. And yeah,
Yeah.
so those are a few things.
Yeah. Because we've talked a few times about how kind of your mindset about this way of eating is
Mhm.
different than when you've done other diets. So can you just talk a
Oh
little bit
yeah.
about how this is different than like diets and things like that, other approaches to weight loss?
Right. So in the past, weight loss, it's always like, well, you have to eat this salad in order to be skinny or something like that. And so it's more of like, okay, how much willpower do I have to eat these vegetables so that I can meet this end goal? Whereas this time, like my mindset changed in a new way that it hasn't before, and to where I really enjoyed the fact that I was nourishing my body and just giving it what it needed, and just sort of taking care of it rather than, all right, got to do this thing so that I lose the weight or whatever. So, yeah, it became something that I wanted to do and I enjoyed doing rather than something that I had to do in order to meet the goal that I wanted.
Yeah. Which that's a big difference, I think,
Oh,
from,
yeah.
like you said, forcing ourselves to do certain things like cut calories or eat salads because we think it'll help us lose weight. Because that's it's
Hmm.
just not fun to do it that way.
Right. Hmm. And then also, another mindset that changed was how I look for fun in like uh, short term and long term. So, if I'm grumpy and irritated, and sure that brownie is going to taste great and it's going to give me a little mood boost, but then later, like I'm not going to feel good. And then just knowing that, if I'm eating clean things that are really nourishing my body, like I'm going to feel so much better in the long term, and it's going to way outweigh that short term like sugar fix that I
Yes.
think I want.
Yeah. Was it hard for you? Because I think sometimes people think like, oh, cutting back on sugar, it's going to be so hard, or taking time to prepare your own meals. Like things like that can feel daunting, or like
Oh
what you
yeah.
kind of alluded to before, like, the food's going to be boring or not taste good. So did it feel like overwhelming making these changes?
Well, at the beginning, like right when I was about to get started, I was like, oh, this is just, it's going to take away all my fun. And hearing like, babies and COVID and just being at home all the time, like food, like I want to look forward to something. And I feel like that's going to be taken away from me. Um, but I was, I found out that simply just wasn't true. Like
Mm,
I found other ways to have fun. And, it is possible to cut out sugar. Like it's shocking, but it's true. Like we just had Halloween, and the first Halloween I've ever had, there was candy right there, and I
yeah.
didn't eat it. And it wasn't even a struggle. Like I didn't even have to fight it. Like I just didn't want that because I've discovered how good I can feel when I eat good things. So yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, that's
And
the best when you get to
yes,
that place where you just don't even want it. Like yeah, like
right.
you said, it's not the struggle to stay away from it because you just don't have that same desire.
Yeah, and I never thought that could be me. Food has always just been something to look forward to and something to be have fun with. And
Mhm.
I always thought like, well, I have one life, so I just want to enjoy my food and like eat the fries and eat this and that.
Yeah.
But then it's actually not enjoying it as much when you're just tired and you're grumpy and moody and just don't feel good. Like you can enjoy life so much better when you nourish your body is what I'm learning.
Yes. That is a great point, because that is a common thought. Like, I just want to enjoy life. I want to be able to eat whatever I want, but yeah,
Hmm.
it's not enjoying it quite as much. So, talk about, how are you feeling now? Like, what are some of the biggest changes that you've seen in any area?
Oh boy, every area. I thought, you know, when we started, I thought, okay, well, I think I've heard that these other changes could happen too, like energy and mood stabilization and sleep, like, so I
Mhm.
think those could happen. But I was really like, okay, probably the weight. And sure enough, like the weight came off and it was amazing. And I feel so good. And it's been wonderful.
Yeah.
But also like the energy, like who knew that I could have more energy? And it's not like my situation has changed. Like, I'm still running around with the boys all the time and,
Yeah.
life's not, you know, just perfect all the time, but I've got energy and my moods are so much more stable.
Mhm.
Um, and I've had up and down moods my whole life. So I just kind of thought, well, that's just who I am and that's just the way it is. But I was really surprised how much I guess food can really affect my mood. And that's been really nice to
Yes.
just be a little more level.
Yeah. Feel more stable.
Yes. And then sleep too has gotten much better. I still have a young baby, so I have to get up with him, but um I sleep so much more deeply and I get so much more restful sleep. I'm not awake in the middle of the night on my own, just
Mhm.
thinking my thoughts and worrying or whatever. I can just sleep a lot better. So that's been wonderful.
Yeah, that was a big change too for you, just controlling your
Hmm.
thoughts a little bit more, not feeling like
Yeah, yeah.
you're running
That
away.
was a surprising thing that I noticed doing this program was just, oh, like just kind of taking my thoughts captive and just realizing how much I'm just, I don't know, letting my mind go.
Yeah. Yeah, we do that. We don't often take time to stop and control our thoughts, like you said.
Hmm.
Was there anything else that just surprised you during the whole process of changing your lifestyle?
Oh, a lot of things. How freeing it was not to count calories
Yes.
or
Yeah, me.
log my food.
Yeah.
You know, I thought at first, like, well, sometimes in the past I've had success, and that's only because I'm logging it in the app and keeping it under a certain calorie thing.
Yeah.
And if I don't do that, then surely I can't lose weight. But I didn't log food and I lost weight. And I never felt like I was depriving myself because I was just eating good things and I was paying attention to my hunger, which was, you know, life changing.
Yeah.
Like, don't eat when you're not hungry. Like, that sounds simple, but I guess, I don't know. I'm not as hungry as I thought I was.
Yep. Yeah, it sounds simple, but not something we practice.
Hmm. And then also, I think one thing that really surprised me was just how thankful I ended up being.
Mhm.
It was just like a side effect, I guess, but I was just so thankful for my body and yeah, and just for the food that I've been provided with, and just thankful for what my body's capable of. And I felt like I'm not at war with my body, like I don't know, I just appreciate it. And um, yeah, I just was thankful.
Yeah, that's so great. It's a totally different mindset. It's a different way of thinking about food and our bodies
Hmm.
and what health means.
Right. Hmm.
That's great. I just want to say too, excuse me, because a lot of times we think, well, it's not a good time to start making changes. I'm busy, I have little kids, I'm on vacation, whatever it is. But you definitely had your share of like events happening during this whole 3 months, right?
Oh man, yeah. Like if there's ever not a good time, this was not a good time. Like went on vacation, got COVID, like sold my house and I'm living in my parents' house. Like everything was just all a mess. I don't even have all my cooking supplies. Like I just kind of like working with one hand tied behind my back, but it's still possible and
Yeah.
you can still feel good and even when things aren't the way you think they should be.
Yeah.
So,
You
yeah.
were just so motivated and committed to make it work, and
Mhm.
I think that's the biggest thing that it takes. That's how to know when the time is right, is when you're in that
Mm.
mindset that you're ready to do what it takes.
Mhm. And once you start feeling good, like, oh, it's you'll wanna keep doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. As we wrap up, do you have any last thoughts or any like words of encouragement to other people who are kind of in that place where they're just tired, not comfortable in their bodies, tired of dieting?
Mhm. Just there's hope. You can do it.
Yes.
Like, I don't know. I look back at where I was, and I look at myself now, and I truly feel like a different person. And at the beginning, it just seems so like so far removed. Like, oh, I can't get there. Like that's just too much of a jump from here to there. But one week at a time, and just keep working on it. And yeah, there will be times that you mess up, but just keep going, and you'll feel so much better.
Yeah.
And yeah,
In
it's
just
a
a few
great
months.
feeling. Yeah, I know. It's mind blowing.
It is when we take care of our bodies the way we were designed to, it's amazing how
Mhm.
resilient we are and our health is and
Mhm.
how we feel.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for sharing all this. I do hope that it's encouraging for anyone watching and just knowing that it is possible to make the changes, that it doesn't have to feel daunting and overwhelming, but it
Mhm.
really is worth it when you get a couple months down the road and are feeling so
Oh,
much
yeah.
better. So,
Mhm.
thanks so much, Lindsay, for being
Yeah,
here.
you bet.
Yeah, we'll talk to you all later.